Hello, quilt people. Welcome to 2020. I am super excited. We have so much to do this year. So to get started, I wanted us to look at a pretty easy way. And I appreciate everybody like kind of chiming in when I asked what tutorials you wanted me to do. I'm surprised at how many people don't really embrace or know how to do applique. What's so great about that is you can literally take any image that you see on the computer and wait, what? Hold on. I thought I heard something. Apparently, with a new year comes a new attitude. Mitzi, her daughter, Natalie Wood, she just took up DJing for New Year's. And so she's got, I don't know, some kind of mad skill now that she thinks that she wants. Anyway, shut it down. Really? I get the feeling that this is going to be a problem when I'm trying to work, so maybe we just go with it. So where were we? Talking about applique. Now, if you want to find an image on the computer, it's really important that you find one that is somewhat, not dumbed down, but easier to do when converting from a picture to fabric, right? So I printed out 3 pictures here of an eagle's head, okay? So the first one you can see has like a lot of detail. Okay, see all this raggedy bit on the bottom there? That's going to be very, very, very difficult to translate into fabric, okay? So this would be a bad one to choose, all right? Then let's look at the next one, which is this one. This one's going to be slightly easier, and you can see how it's smoothed out a little bit, and this part would be no problem. You'd be able to do that. No problem. Now this part down here would be slightly more difficult, but still doable. Like I wouldn't be too afraid of this image compared to the last one. Okay, let me just hold them up side by side so you can really see, right? Difficult, all right, far more doable. And then the easiest one is this one. Now you can see how easy this would be. I mean, going from even this one, which I think is actually kind of cool, and you'd be able to do no problem, to this one, right? To translate that into fabric, no problem. So let me show you, though, some basic techniques, and we could even do this one if you like, and just to turn it into fabric. Now, I always like turned edges, but you don't have to do that if you're using like a hot fix or some other type of fusible, right? And that's really easy. You just draw it out, and you don't have to worry about the turned edges. Personally, I like turned edges, like this one here, right? The deer head cabin quilt. I teach you in the tutorial that comes with the pattern how to turn the edges, and this one does have turned edges, okay? But of course, it's always an option to not do that if you just want to simplify and then just put a blanket stitch or something on the edge to try and clean that up a little bit. But let me show you how I translate any image I find on the internet into an actual applique with turned edges. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I have my no melt plastic template plastic, and you can just get this at Michael's or wherever. I think I got this one at Joann's actually. But all you do is put down some double-sided stick tape in the area that you're going to be cutting out. If you put it on the white, it doesn't really matter. But you do want to kind of, you know, not heavily, but at least cover it so that when you're cutting this out, it doesn't slip and move too much on you. Okay, so let's get some, especially on the perimeter of the image. Okay, there. And then we just put this down on top of it, like that. And I'd take a box cutter. You can also use an X-Acto knife or something like that. And then just start cutting it out. It's that simple. Okay, I have cut this out. And then I just remove the center part from the background plastic. Be careful, especially on like really sharp edges and tips, that you don't accidentally pull them off. Okay, now I can remove this from the paper, but I want to leave some, see this mess that I'm creating here? I kind of do that intentionally because I want to know what is the back side versus what is the front side, right? So that I don't get the image reversed, right? Does that make sense? So I want to leave some of this paper on the back so I know that's the back. Okay, so then I have this and I'm ready to actually put it into fabric. Okay, so I have my fabric and I'm going to put the wrong side up. Okay, see how this is bright on this side? This is the wrong side up. So then I take my template and I put a little 505, just some temporary adhesive on the side that obviously doesn't have the paper, right? That's just flat plastic. And then the flat plastic part goes down with the paper up, right? That's why I keep the paper there, just to keep it really clear. And then from here, I'm just going to cut out around the plastic about 1/4 of an inch away from the template. All right, check it out. Now I have this done, and what I'm going to do is take my scissors and kind of just clip up into the areas where I know I'm going to need to get a little bit closer in, right? Like this area here between those two kind of points, right? And so I'm just going to go through and tidy it up just a little bit. Now I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I covered this extensively on the hearts applique. So if you haven't seen that video, maybe go back through and find where I did that, because I really get into how to address the cleavage and a point. And those are the main two things that you need to do in order to pull this off. Okay, so just go ahead and use your scissors and get up into there. And then again, just keeping about 1/4 of an inch around, and I'm just trimming this up. It actually looks not bad. So then I'm going to take it to the lap ironing board. Get a little jar or something like this. It can even be the lid of your spray starch, heavy spray starch. And then all you do is take a Q-tip and put it around the edge. All right. And then just fold it over and iron it. And that'll keep a nice heavy crease around the edge of your no melt plastic template, right? And then once you've gone all the way around the perimeter, you pull the plastic template out and shablam, you got yourself something that's ready to be appliqued, like any shape that's ready to be appliqued onto a background. And that's really it. I mean, I think that maybe sometimes people don't fully understand applique is just really another word for applying a piece of fabric onto a background, and it can be anything. You know, so there's no need to be afraid or not like applique, because it's just another method of, rather than piecing, just applying something, an image or another object onto a background fabric. All right, so I'm going around here and I'm trucking along doing this. And there's a couple places on this, obviously, that I'm going to want to be mindful of, like around his beak. All right? And so when I get to that, I will show you how easy that is. All right, I'm getting down to his beak here, and I'm just going to give it a little finger press. And because it is kind of, you know, damp from the starch, right? Being able to just kind of get this first line done. See how I'm doing this side first? I'm not worrying about the second one because I'm going to pull that one over next, but just getting this down and around, and the iron just sets those deep creases, and just like a second, there it goes, right? Easy. And then the other side I'm going to worry about now. See how tight this is? The plastic template is down here. So you're going to want to do some little easing cuts, you know, up into that just to release some of that tension. And then, again, just damp it down a little bit with some of that. And then finger press it, right? Kind of just pull it back into there. Now, whenever you have a second direct, so you're having this one come first, the second one folds the first one back, okay? You see that? So the first one is here, right? And then I take the second one and fold it, right? Here's the first one. Fold it on top of that one to make as crisp of an edge as possible, and then just hold it down with the iron. And then just keep going around, right? It's looking great from the front. See? See how I did that? Pull that down and then just fold the other one over top of it and just keep going. Easy. All right, my next trickiest moment is that I have these kind of feathers that are dipping down here. I know it's hard to see because the plastic is see-through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up into that area between the next feather and the neighboring one, right? And then I'm just going to, again, fold one side, right? And then fold the other one back over it. All right, so I'm just going to do that with this side first. One, all right? And then fold the other one over top of it, giving me a perfect little feather. Okay. And press it for a second. 2. Okay. And then just keep going. So you can see how this is just a little bit more difficult down here with all these feathers than the rest of it. And that's why I suggested that you go with this one, the simpler image of the silhouette, rather than one with a bunch of detail. Okay? But what you're trying to do primarily at this step is just to put in a hard crease with that starch so that it holds that crease in place, so that when you take the plastic template out, you still have that crease there and you can essentially remake it, right? And so I'm just going to go through and do it from the back side here, just to press those back down. Look, it's like, so it's that easy, right? And then just put those creases back in where they were. Now, down around the feathers, you're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to those creases that you put in there, but not too much. I mean, I'm going to have to clean it up a little bit once I get on the front, but I'm just reestablishing those creases heading the right direction. Okay? And then flip it over. And I have, like, see where you fold it once and then you get the overfold, like, kind of action on the beak there? Not sure if you can see that. All you're going to do is trim that up. Right? Right here. Trim that off. Right? So now it's nice and sharp. And then hit those creases again. And then go through and clean this part up. It'll be self-evident because you've made the creases already. You just have to remake them and get them all heading the right way, and then trim up the excess where it's not nice looking. Right? And shablam, you have yourself an eagle head that you could attach to any, craft or whatever you want. Sorry that my lap ironing board is so dirty. You could, use it on anything. And so that's the easiest way, is to take any image that you like from the internet and then just wrap it. And this is a turned edge. Again, a raw edge would be a lot easier because you don't have to worry about all this ironing and turning and all that blah, blah, blah. But, you know, if you wanted to do turn edges, which I like and is very beautiful on this quilt, right? It's exactly the same process I did on these. The antlers you can see are a little bit more tricky, but not too bad. And this is my deer head cabin quilt. So you can buy it actually on my website, and I'll show you through it step by step. As you know, all of my patterns come with a step-by-step tutorial to help you through it. But that's just it. It's just that simple. So I hope that that was helpful. I hope that you think that 2020 is off to a great start. I do, and I'm super excited to continue this and to hear from you. You can always reach me at quiltingcowboy@gmail.com. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.